Hello again, everyone. Welcome and welcome back. So, today is going to be the next part of our review of these Ultra Blend markers. These are the H20 by Arteza, and there's water-based ink in these, and the nibs are replaceable. So they have an alcohol version of these. This is just the water-based version. If you watched my last video, we used the pastels pack with a couple colors thrown in here and there. Today we're gonna focus on the muted vintage tones, and instead of my original artwork, we're gonna test it in a coloring book. And I chose Enchanted Earth by Mel Pamini. So with that being said, let's get into it. So here's the swatch for the muted vintage tones, and I have them actually picked out here this time. Last time you had to hear me scramble through them. So I'm gonna start with, and I'm just gonna use the same palette I was using when I was testing out the other pack. So, and I have my paintbrush and everything here ready to go. So let's get into it. I'm just gonna clean this off a little bit. I put so much water in there just now. Okay. I just put too much water. Oh, here's a napkin. Okay. I was gonna say, I don't have a napkin nearby. It's something every video with me. You guys already know. Okay. Now I have the palette. We're ready to go. I am going to start, I think, with these birds. And I have this a 02. It's not quite black and it's not quite gray. I'm not sure what it is. So I'm gonna put some here in the palette. I guess it's supposed to be black, but it's very light for black. Plus I'm gonna add some water to it anyway. So I'm just gonna grab a bit and I'm gonna throw it on. I'm gonna start with these wings, and I don't know how well this book takes water, so I'm only gonna put, matter of fact, I better use my water brush because I can kind of control. I've been painting on watercolor paper so much lately that I have to remember that these coloring books, some of them don't take water very well, so I have to chill out with the water, which is okay. But I've been coloring on watercolor paper, and you can throw a lot at watercolor paper. Not these coloring books though, so we're gonna be careful today. So I'm putting them in the palette, and then I'm just putting it on here. You can actually go just straight in, or you can put it on the palette. I did both in the last video. We're gonna see if we can blend some of these together in this video, while also, and I don't know what made me choose black for these birds, but they're gonna be black. Why not? And this is like a weird black. It's not even completely black. It's just like a very dark gray, I guess. Maybe if you go straight in, I'm sure it's probably black, but I don't know. Okay, no more birds, right? All right. Let's do something a little bit more exciting than black birds. Let's do, I kind of want to do the ground here in this, whatever color this 107 is. But let's do the giraffes, and I'm gonna actually see if I can mix 102 and 107, because this 102 seems a little bright for the giraffe. So I'm gonna see if I can mix in some 107 just a little bit, just to tone it down some. Okay. And I'm just gonna go over our whole giraffe. I'm not worried about the spots because I can go over the spots. I should have mixed more color than what I did, because now, let me just grab a lot, because there is 2 giraffes, so. Just tone it down a little. I lost what I was saying, but anyway, this is a mix of 102 and 107, so you can mix the colors. I mixed them in the palette, so it's like watercolor and a marker, seriously. I'm just gonna go over those spots too, so. It's a good way to get your pages done pretty quick. We're gonna see if we can go over them with some pencil once they dry. We're also not gonna go over those spots until they dry. And then I'm gonna try to get the tail. I need to get some detail brushes, but the ones I've seen are like really like long. And I don't do well when the brush is really long. So I don't know about that. Okay. Now, for these trees, I kind of want to just go in these smaller trees. I just want to go in and see. This might be too dark, but I just want to go in and see what it looks like, if it's going to behave the same way as my other water-based markers, or if it's going to be blotchy. You know what I mean? These are very juicy. I'm just going over some spots I missed. Yeah, these are very juicy. None of the ones I had was really dry. They all have a nice amount of ink. Even the one that, you know, they sent the box, it was all beat up. Well, I don't know if it was Arteza or if it was UPS, but somebody did some damage to that box. They stepped on it and everything, so. But the markers, like I said, the markers were okay. And they're juicy. All right. So I'm gonna let it dry and we're gonna see if that comes out to be patchy. Now, I like this reddish color here. So I kind of want the background to be, I don't know if I want to do the background. But anyway, I'm gonna bring in this 105 and I'm gonna use that for the field they're walking on, because I don't know if I feel like they're not in the desert, but they're in like the savannah or somewhere, I don't know. So I'm gonna grab 105 and I want to see if I can, and I'm gonna test it in one of these smaller spots. I'll test it underneath the giraffe. I want to see if I can put a little bit down and then blend it out with some water. I mean, you can, but it kind of leaves a line still a little bit. I would probably just go ahead and put this in the palette and then put it on here, because it leaves kind of like a line once you do it. So it's probably better to just, I mean, it looks pretty, but the line kind of throws it off. So it's probably best to just do it this way. And then be careful with the trees, because we just went in straight, so we can still activate that with water if we get too close. So let's just put some down. If you guys haven't seen the other parts, I did an unboxing. I showed you guys the swatches. I talked about the packaging. And what else? We went through each set and we talked about the doubles and things like that. So if you haven't seen that, that video is up. Like I said, as well as we did the pastel colors. That video will be up before this one, hopefully, depending on, you know, YouTube. YouTube might decide to be like, you know what, just because you said something, we're gonna put it up after. So the plan is to have that one up first. I could just wait and schedule this one later, but I never know when YouTube is going to be done uploading my videos, because sometimes they upload really quick and it'll be done by the end of the day. Sometimes it'll be done in a couple hours. I had one video, it was uploaded before I can go and get my food and sit down. So YouTube, I don't know, they have a method. I'm just not sure what their method is, and I need to figure it out. But for now, I can just schedule this one to be uploaded after that one. And I'm just putting this down. I'm not really trying to make it perfect, because I want to go see if it works with pencil. And I'm going to add a little bit more to the palette here. Actually a lot, because we have this whole bottom. But these are actually really nice. They worked very, very well in that watercolor paper. I had so much fun putting that piece together. It's not finished yet. I think I'm just gonna go over these flowers. I don't know. They're kind of in the way. Yeah, I'm just gonna go over them. I'll probably just stickle those or something anyway. I had so much fun. And then they kind of, I don't want to say blend, because I didn't really blend them together, but they work so well in the watercolor. They didn't leave any blotches, and it was a nice experience. I had fun. The coloring book, if you have a coloring book with some better paper, I mean, I know the paper in this book is really good because I like using my water-based markers in here. So using them straight, like, let's see, let's grab this purple actually, and let's go over these flowers with just, maybe I'll pick a lighter purple. This is 412. Let's pick 411. And let's go over some of these flowers and see. They just look black. Let's not do that. What about this one? Okay, yeah, let's do that. I still might put some stickles, but you could just go straight in with color like I'm doing now. You can add water. I do like the color of these flowers, and I don't know if it's just because they're blending in with this brown that I went over, but it's like a nice, looks totally black on the screen with you guys, but it's like a nice rich purple. Yeah, it totally looks black on screen. I guarantee you it's not black, but I'm gonna add stickles or something over the flowers anyway. And you guys know how I do. I might even just do metallic, some kind of metallic marker or something, but I do like this color. I wish it was a little bit brighter. And then I could still shade it, but they're dark enough already. And I like that the nibs are replaceable, because I can almost guarantee I'm gonna tear up these nibs. And I'm probably gonna use these quite a bit too, so I'm working a lot more on my original work. Trying to draw, sketch every day, practice water mediums. I love how my Neo 2s work in my watercolor sketchbook. Right now, those are my favorite to use. I'm gonna test these out in my watercolor sketchbook, but I think my watercolor sketchbook is also what do you call it? Strathmore. So now this thing, I think I want it to be, I'm gonna go in with just, I'm gonna grab all the purples in this color. See, if you can see, it's much brighter. So I think it's not, it was because the brown that I had chose to put underneath, but I wasn't about to go around all those flowers. We're just testing out things here. And even with me like going over multiple times, it's still not blotchy. So I don't know what they did with these water markers, but they're pretty decent. I like them. It did something to them. Okay, let me grab this lighter purple. And I'm gonna put it right next to some of these. Let's do this one. We'll leave some room for some metallic. That looks pretty cool. I'm sorry if it doesn't, I don't know what's up with the lighting today, but it's doing some strange things. Okay, now, I think, no, our giraffes are still a little bit wet. I was gonna say, I think it's dry enough to where we can put some, but nope. All right, so I'm gonna grab some of this 302, and this is kind of like a earthy red color, and I'm gonna use this for the leaves of the trees. And nope, not doing them individually. I'm just gonna make sure I don't go outside the lines, and they are gonna be done just like this. Because she has so much detail that you don't have to just sit and do each one individually if you don't want to. This is a nice color palette though. And you can always bring in other colors and things like that, so. I don't think I'm brave enough to do a background with these yet. But I feel like since the flowers were like this kind of purplish color, I'm like, let's throw in this, this is like a very nice earth red. Actually, it's one of my favorite colors that we got in this set. And then remember to be careful when you go by these trees if you're coloring along, because we used it straight. We didn't add any water, so be careful, because if you get it wet, it's gonna blend in. And I don't know what that color is gonna look like, so be careful. Just getting some spots that I might have missed. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now, this tree though, I think, this looks like the same color that I used here. So I'm gonna add a little bit of the dark one to this brown I was using. Just for this little tree stump. This looks like it would be a nice color for the spots as well. But look how fast, like, and we can even hit those spots up. But we didn't even spend a lot of time. And you guys know usually my videos are like in parts and things like that. And we pretty much got the base down, everything but the background. And we can leave it like this, or we can, you know I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm going to add some flair, some colored pencils, some metallics. But if you really just wanted to go in with these markers, you could. And I really, really like that they just, it's effortless, really. You just scribble some down in a palette and just go. Or you can just go straight in. If you watch the watercolor paper one we did, you'll see. It's really nice. It's a little harder to do in a coloring book because it's not watercolor paper, and these are kind of meant, to add water and use as kind of water mediums. But you can get some nice things done. Like I said, I don't want to touch the background. But let me grab I know we're supposed to be showcasing the markers, but I'm gonna grab my color pencils, and I'm gonna grab my polys because, well, those are tried and true, so that's what I'm grabbing. And I'm gonna just grab, I want to I want to just add some color to these fields. That actually looks like the same color as that, so I'm actually going to grab a little bit of a darker brown. Probably this one. Let's see what it looks like when I put it down. Yeah. So you can like darken this up a bit. You can go right over it with color pencil. That's great. I'm just adding some shadow to these fields. And you don't even have to, like, if you leave some white space, then you can grab a color that kind of matches it and just go over it. But if you don't leave any white space, you can just grab a shadow color and blend it right in, like I'm doing here. But some of them, like right here, I kind of left out some white space, so I can just go in, grab the similar color or an exact match. This one literally looks like an exact match. But you can just, go over it. Or if you don't want it as bright, you can go over it again with the marker. I would be careful doing that, like I said, in a coloring book, or at least wait until it's completely dry because let's do this big one. So just gonna add some shadow. We'll also see if it went through the back, because I started off with a lot of water by accident. But these are single-sided, so I do have a paper underneath. Okay. And then this one I kind of left a little white, so I'm gonna, it's a little bright, a little bit bright right here. And you can just kind of fill in what you want. You can even, if you want to go darker, I have, what do we have? What is this? Raw umber? Probably not raw umber. Let's grab, what is this we have here? Maybe burnt umber. Burnt umber might even be a little bit too dark, but you can just add in a little bit more shadow if you want, or if that's too dark, you can grab burnt sienna, which is kind of also like a reddish brown, so that should fit right in. And just, yep. And it goes right over it. So, and it might seem like I'm moving a little bit quick, but I did manage to somehow hurt the right wrist at work. So not only does the left one now hurt sometimes, because the left one's getting better, but now the right one is completely and totally crushed. So it might seem like I'm moving fast. I'm not rushing, it's just I'm trying to move through the pain. But so you can see here, we just kind of went over with color pencil, but you don't have to, because if you see, it doesn't look that much different than the rest. You can just, you know, if you want it to be a little bit more even, you can just add some shadow, like I said. But you don't even have to do that. If you just want a quick page, you can just, these markers are versatile, very much so. You don't have a lot of work to do with these. And I like the triangle shape. I really do. They feel very comfortable in my hands. But yeah, you can just add some shadows to these dunes or whatever these things are they're walking on. You don't need a lot of effort. A very effortless page, really. And this is just, you know, I haven't even, you guys know I take forever on a page making it look decent, but I've not even done a lot and it already looks pretty cool. I didn't do much at all. So I'm just saying, these markers, some of the best water markers I've used so far. So let's see if it bled through the paper. Now that we know color pencil goes over it just fine, which I figured it would. I wasn't concerned about, and I'm just gonna go over. I wasn't concerned about color pencil not being able to go over it, but you never know. Sometimes, you know, you get something and they're advertising it like, oh, you can use it as this, and you can do this, and you can do that, and then you try and do it, and you're like, what the heck? You said I could, you know. And so it's really good to test a little bit of everything that you know you're gonna use. So I am a color pencil colorist, so I know I'm gonna want to put color pencil over my water-based markers, so I had to test this. And I use my polys, those are my favorites. So I'm like, okay, if my polys work, I'm a happy camper. You know, my Holbeins, I'll test those, but like I said, as long as my favorites work, that's all right. So there we have this part, and you know, you can keep going over it. So far I've not hit my layer threshold yet, so you can do that, and that's good. Now let's see if it's gone over to the other side before we move on. Hang on. So pencils work. And if I missed anything that you guys want to see tested, let me know. So it looks like it went through just a tad, not even enough to gripe about. What even went through? A little bit on the dune area, you can see. But I probably put too much water, but other than that, nothing else went through. The birds, nothing. So as long as you don't put too much water, which we all know already, in your coloring book, they work fine. They wrinkle the page very, very little. Very little. There's no like super crinkling or anything like that. So as far as that goes, they work. Now, really quickly, I do want to test to see if I want to test something out before we head out of here. So just in some regular paper, I wanted to see how well do we blend. And this is just my swatch book, so I'm going to use it in the back because we all know I'm never going to have this many watercolors. So in the back, I'm just going to just put down some purple. And I'm going to put down some whatever color this is. Oh. And I'm going to put down some more purple because this looks like it's working perfectly fine and I don't have anything to worry about, and I don't know what I was worried about, but I was curious. It's watercolor paper, but they do blend. Now, do they blend on regular paper? Let's see if I have some regular paper around. I have, that looks very untrustworthy. Okay, I have some index card paper. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put some purple down. I'm gonna put some whatever color this is down. So this one, I feel like you got to be a little bit more careful with the paper, but it also blends perfectly fine. This is just cheap index paper, but I want to test some water on it before we head out here. Yep, it blends just fine. Of course, if it's not watercolor paper, be careful with it, but it's fine. That's a pretty color that it's making, though. Really, it is. And it gets lighter. But yeah, okay. That's pretty neat. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. I enjoyed testing these out with you. This one is like tearing up the paper just a bit, but like I said, it's cheap index card paper, so you know. But I enjoyed testing these markers out with you guys. If you have any questions or want to see something else tested or so on and so forth, just leave a comment down below and I will do my best to accommodate. And here's the page that we kind of started with them today. And I hope you check out the other videos because like I said, these markers are really fun. And I will catch you all later. Have a good evening.